You're watching SBA Today. With all the latest news, stories, and advice, here are your hosts, Paul Long and Tanya Mazurek.
Welcome to SBA Today for the week of March 10th. I am Paul and joined by
Tanya.
the Tanya.
Tanya. Oh, yeah, I am the Tanya.
And we are going to talk about, there was a hearing on the Hill. The American Bankers Association had 8 recommendations from the hearing. And if you did not listen to the hearing and you're not a nerd like me, my God, you missed out on some really good meat. And we're going to talk about that. But first, Tanya's got something to share.
Well, it's all it is. It's talking about the strengthening the underwriting standards, guys. Okay. I call this the loan approval Olympics. Okay. And imagine you're a small business owner applying for a 7A loan. You've got a solid business plan, good credit, some skin in the game. You got it going on, but suddenly it feels like you're competing in the loan approval Olympics, and the judges, aka underwriters, well, they just keep moving the goalpost. That never happens. Anyway, before all of this went down a couple years ago, right, there were clear underwriting standards, kind of like an obstacle course. And with the 9 specific hurdles, you knew what you were up against. Now, SBA says, forget all that. Forget the course. Let's just freestyle it. Because why not, right? Leading to chaos. Leading to chaos. Exactly. What could possibly go wrong? Now, after handing out too many gold medals, they're scrambling to reinstate structure before everything collapses. And us lenders, what are us lenders doing? We're like, really? Okay, so now you want to implement rules after we've handed out all the participation ribbons? Okay, that's cool. Okay, so as you can tell, I kind of wrote this down because it's like, it's just too much. So my take on all of this, keep the underwriting standards strong, but not so rigid that only the Olympic gymnasts can qualify. Balance is key. And now I know you'll get a kick out of this one, Paul. So it's kind of like setting up a dating profile. I know it. Too many restrictions and no matches. But if it's too loose, well, yikes. Anyway, okay.
I like that. Wow. So, man.
Just joking.
That was awesome.
I just
Thanks,
had some fun with
Tanya.
that, guys. You're done.
Well, hey, so we're going to dive into this. So Itzel Sims from First Security Bank spoke in front of the Senate on behalf of the American Bankers Association about some of the recommendations. Now, keep in mind, these are recommendations. These are not things that are going through. I mean, some of it, I hope they do, but we'll get into that in a moment. So
quite a bit of it.
Let's first dive into one of them is SBA should focus on increasing the number of banks participating in the program instead of printing new SBLC licenses. I mean, can we all get a standing applause on that one? I don't know. That's my opinion. Right?
Why? My thing is, why do they not want non-banks? So here's my take on that. Non-banks are kind of like that unsupervised house party you had in high school, which I never had that at all. And my thing on it is, why don't we just supervise it, right? We don't need to shut down the party. We just need a good bouncer, basically, that's keeping an eye on things and kicking those out that aren't playing like they're supposed to. So regulate the non-bank lenders, keep them, right? We need some competition in there. That's cool. But regulate them so we don't get a financial hangover.
Well, what's interesting too is 25% of banks and credit unions participate in the program. Mm-hmm. Swallow that number for a moment. Like, that's crazy. Now, again, okay, let's be one of those banks that doesn't participate in the program. One, there's great LSPs out there that can be able to help you with those. But there's a ton of knowledge that goes into an SBA program. And without that knowledge, I mean, you're just making some pretty crazy loans.
Oh, you mean kind of like Oprah? You get a loan and you get a loan and you get a loan. We all get loans.
Right. Well, and I think that's a part of the non-bank is, and you know what? I refer all the time to non-bank lenders on deals that I'm not going to do. But it's the same. We play in the same sandbox, and yet one can do it, and one is choosing not to because we're prudent lenders. And that's what's just and you're absolutely right. So, I mean, again, I'd love to see more banks participate in the program, and I think that would be a thing, because I mean, there is definitely a
maybe
high
if they
return.
took away some of this, the ridiculous amounts of paper oversight, like the paper, the crazy bureaucracy around it or whatever, then more banks might participate. But you can't have one group that's got one set of rules, I guess, that they play by, and then you've got another that has no rules that they play by and expect things to go well.
But Tanya, it's do what you do, and it's what I do is whatever the hell I want to do.
Well, kind of like that dadgum unsupervised house party I never had.
That's right. Right. No, absolutely. I'm sure you never did.
Never.
Nope. Number 2, SBA should reinstate the loan authorization, which was required prior to 2023 as a required document for 7A loans. Now, okay, free Paul opinion. Yes and no on that. I think they took
implementing it, or what do you mean?
Yeah. So I mean, I think what they have right now is too thin.
Right.
And what they had before was too long. Can we just meet in the middle on this?
No.
Because I do think I know there is sign. Sorry, I keep forgetting I'm dealing with the government. There's no such thing as the middle.
The way I see this is the loan authorization is kind of like SBA's version of a prenup, right? Before this document clearly spelled out the terms of the loan. Then someone at SBA said, "Oh, wouldn't it be fun to create chaos?"
Yeah. Well, and here's a great example. One of my SBA colleagues up here in the Pacific Northwest had a situation, was working on the working capital pilot program, and was working on the documents, and the old authorization would say, this is what you need to have in your note.
Right.
Okay. Well, the working capital pilot program, keyword pilot program, there's no rule. Like, it's all just wing it and see what happens. And so he was trying to find out what he needs to put in his note. And they kept referring him back to the authorization that is never not used anymore. So it's like there's the issues with that. So I don't know. I think
I'm just gonna say, it doesn't need to be a 200-page freaking document, people, that we gotta follow. But there needs to be some sort of a solid agreement, kind of like the prenup, really, that says if this goes sideways, this is the plan. And I think there's, like you said, there's got to be some middle ground there versus this ridiculous amount that nobody can get through. And it just takes the amount of resources to get there is ridiculous, or no agreement whatsoever, or no rules, nothing to follow. So there's got to be some kind of a middle ground.
Yeah, I agree. And again, the truth is always in the middle. So let's see what happens. Number Trace. SBA should reinstate the requirement in place until January 2024 that 7A small business borrowers provide 10% equity injection when the borrower is a startup.
Duh! Sorry.
I do not know a single lender, and I will even say a non-bank lender, who would do a startup with no equity.
Oh my God.
And
if you do, you deserve for it to go bad. That's on you. I mean, come on, skin in the game, people.
Right. Okay. Let me push this then, Tanya.
Yeah.
We're going to require 10% for a business acquisition. Is 10% really the number for a startup, or should it be a little higher?
Oh, I think it should be flexible. To be honest, I think it should be flexible. I think 10% should definitely be a minimum, but I think as banks, we're prudent. just because SBA says 10% is the minimum doesn't mean that 10% is the minimum. Now, do I think that it needs to be, they need to increase that amount to something different? No, I think we need to be smart. I think when we're putting in loans, putting loans in place for startups, we need to be looking at what are their strengths, what are their weaknesses.
Yep.
If we see it as something that needs a little strength behind it, maybe we increase that equity injection, or God forbid, we make them have post-close liquidity or extra funds that we're like double checking that they've got enough to actually run their business. I think there's so much that falls on us with that.
There's a new term you mentioned, post-closing liquidity. What's that? I've never heard of that.
Dude, that is like, that's my Bible.
What a concept.
Post-close liquidity. Oh my Lord. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh no, we just need 10% to put in, right? I mean, because you're going to give us working capital to do on the backside. That should be plenty, right? No.
Well, yeah, it's like my favorite business acquisition is when you give them 10% down and they do it in cash, and then you give them 10% back in working capital. I'm
like, there's a visual here. Are we following this, people? Anyway,
yeah. Is there reasons?
No, I mean,
sure there is.
Personally, I think that should never go away. There needs to be skin in the game. Otherwise, it's real easy just to say, hey, we're going to file bankruptcy and peace out, right? Correct. There needs to be skin in the game. They need to put something in. They need to have something backing it. Because if we're going to put our money on the line for you as a borrower, you need to be putting yours on the line as well. So sorry.
Preach it. Hallelujah. Now, one thing I would add is I would be okay maybe being a little more flexible in the down payment for a franchise. I think there's a little bit of wiggle room
behind it. Think about the franchises, people, that most of you out there don't realize. A franchise already has their specifics in who they want to bring on as a franchisee. So they've got their goalpost of you need to have this much money. You need to be from whatever. They've already got structures in place that already up the game for those that are coming in for a franchise or a new acquisition or something like that. So yes.
But like a true startup, I'm going to go out and start my own food truck business. High risk industry, startup. Yeah. I mean, and you
might not like my hot dogs. My hot dogs might suck. I might be really bad at making hot dogs.
There is not a hot dog truck that I do not like.
Well, you haven't had mine. Customer. They're probably really bad. I burn things on a grill. Come on, man. Anyway,
this next one, my God, if anyone disagrees with me with this, I'm going to defriend you on LinkedIn. And that is SBA should reinstate the franchise directory. Can I get an amen on that? I feel like
I disagree.
Shut up.
I'm just kidding.
I'm going to start making political signs and I'm going to start putting it on lawns. Bring back the franchise directory. My God, that was so helpful. And, and not to pick on, FedEx, but I'm not going to do a FedEx route. There are SBA lenders now that'll do a FedEx route because the thing's away, etc. There's too much control on a FedEx route. Read it, understand it. That's an issue. So I just wish, I want to shake people when they make dumb decisions, but bring that damn thing back, please.
We don't need convenience. I mean, convenience sucks. Convenience is just highly overrated.
I know, right?
When it comes to the franchise directory, I mean, come on, man. Yeah.
Well, and I know there was one person that was kind of overseeing that, and I hope they still work for the government because that's a whole nother thing. They could have been laid off for all I know.
These days, I mean, that's going to be part of the problem. Yeah.
Yep. So, I mean, please, for the love of God, let's bring that back. I think that really helped a lot of lenders. And now I was on another call again a couple days ago, and that's an extra cost to the borrower because we're going to go get third-party legal review and that type stuff on a franchise agreement just to make sure we're okay. Like, it's just, come on, bring it back. If you're really trying to help small businesses, let's do it.
And before we move on, Susie Granger said a Rob's plan is commonly used for post-close liquidity. You know what, Susie, you're absolutely right. A Rob's plan is actually used both for post-close liquidity as well as equity injection. The one thing we love as SBA lenders and is allowed in SBA is to use a Rob's rollover to put for equity injection, because the debt does not go ahead of the SBA's debt, so it can be used. So it's something that I talk to my borrowers about all the time. So thank you for that.
These 5 seconds are brought to you by Guidance Financial.
Right.
Please call Susie Granger.
Yes.
Sorry. You're welcome, Susie. Love you. Yeah. Let's do another one here. And for the other ones, they want SBA should reinstate the 9-factor lending criteria for 7A loans that have been in place prior to 2023. Again, it's about having the goalposts and having, this is what you got to do. And then, the other one too is, repeal section 1071, the Dodd-Frank Act, the thing we have to get ready for, or some institutions are having to do it now. But I mean, let's be real. If I'm a gambling man, which I will and am, I would absolutely gamble this is going to go away. Trump is not going to allow that, because that is it's a pain, especially for smaller institutions. Larger institutions, they got little geeks in the back office that can pull that off really quickly. Small institutions, it's not so easy.
I mean, I think and I kind of wrote this down, data collection should be efficient and it should be useful, not just bureaucratic black hole. Right. And
what you gonna do with it?
That's what we know it is. Right. But lenders are drowning in the paperwork, and we feel like we're auditioning for a hoarder's reality show, like where info is going into the government void, and who's even reading it once it goes in there?
Elon,
the skeleton crew, with the skeleton crew that they're actually already at and gonna create probably more of. Anyway, your guess is going to slide on that one. But anyway, that's done.
Well, and we all got a little Friday excitement, right? We all got the new SBA notice about, U.S. citizens. So the biggest takeaway on this is no longer can you do the 51% U.S. citizen, 49% no. That is off the table. That is a big deal. So if you did a lot of that, I'm sorry.
You know what was crazy? That came in like midday or something like that.
I know, right?
I was submitting a loan to the SBA, and I got that. Breaks. Sending me the form. I had to send it out. Had to get it signed before we could do anything. It was like, boom, that's it right now. So yeah.
Yep. Well, and okay. So I'm gonna mention this, and even my team kind of laughed at me, but they also did not know either. But do you actually know what a U.S. naturalized person is? Thank you. I'm not trying to throw you under the bus, Tanya, but it's
whatever, Paul. You love throwing me under the. We have had this discussion before. I'm going to start doing some really fun things and totally getting you. No is the answer.
Yeah. I mean, the U.S. natural. From my understanding, the U.S. naturalized is like, for example, when there's the American Samoa and some of the other. I think Guam is a part of that as well. Forgive me. Feel free to correct me in the chat. But that's what's considered a U.S. naturalized person versus a U.S. citizen. That's what I've understood it as. But that's, hey, again, it makes you kind of go into Chat GPT a little more and kind of see what's there. But
again, it's typical bureaucracy in government where it's like you kind of got to look up every term to even know what the heck anything is. Okay, we got one here. Thank you. Angel Rosario says,
thank you for saving me, man.
A U.S. naturalized person is someone who wasn't born in the United States but has gone through the process of becoming a citizen by fulfilling specific requirements outlined in the Immigration and Nationality Act. Thank you, Angel.
So then I messed that up. Thank you for correcting.
Completely. I mean,
that's okay. I know. I really
y'all, this show, like I said, we bring you what we got. we bring you
raw and unfiltered,
which, yes, very raw and unfiltered, because that's what makes it who we are. Hey, I want to go back really quick though before we move on, because I think we skipped over this and I really like it, which is increasing fees for 7A loans. They're suggesting that also that we increase fees for 7A loans. SBA should consider increasing the fees, especially in light of rising default rates. Now, my question on that would be, would there be rising default rates if they hadn't implemented the no guarantee fee under $1 million and cut servicing fees? Thoughts?
Okay. My opinion is defaults have nothing to do with the fee. My opinion, defaults have everything to do with underwriting, which is the effect of what happened several years ago. That's what I think is causing the defaults. And which, again, this is an insurance program, right? You got to have money to pay claims. Well, in this case, I think that's the issue. I really think that's the issue. Is the underwriting.
Kind of see it two ways on that one. I think it does have something to do with it. Not particularly, because it has to do with who's looking at these and what oversight are they giving to these different loans, or are they just saying, hey, it's like candy. No longer do you need to, is there a fee for it so we can get more people in it? And are they giving it to those who maybe shouldn't be in there to begin with? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm gonna call. No, no, because here's the thing: what is under 500,000? Do what you do. That's the issue.
But do what you do is my problem. Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
Because it's underwriting.
I'm saying that's the thing. Kind of do what you do, really, in today's environment. In general, or at least like some of the non-banks are actually even the do what you do with some of the banks that are just kind of willy-nillying it, I think. So,
well, I think there's a lot of credit score. There's also a lot of credit score programs where it's, you have a, 760, boom, you're approved. Here's a rubber stamp. Like that's, But you're right. Here, the bottom line is, whether we think fees are going to increase or not, guess what? Take this right now and put it on your calendar. It's going to happen.
Well, they need to. They need to because look at the what is it, 274,000 or 274 million that they're in the hole. We got to get out of it somehow. We've got to have money to actually put these programs.
But Doge is going to fix that, so don't worry about that. I'm kidding. So, who knows? Let's see what happens. But I do think
speechless.
I do think fees are going to go up on the lender fees, the 0.55, 0.17. Those are going to go up next year. And I think the fee waivers are just, I think those days are over for a while, in my opinion. Woo! All right. So. That's a mic drop. And we're doing something kind of cool this week, right?
Yes, I was going to bring that up actually, guys.
Well, go.
Usually when we tell you that we're going to see you next week, oh no, we're going to see you actually in a couple of days because we are headed to Orlando.
Boom.
Come on, Paul.
It's 80 degrees and sunny. I already checked, by the way. It's 80 degrees and sunny. I see why Ray lives
there. I got my swimsuit. I got my Anyway, sundress. I am not going to be that banker that shows up in black. Sorry, guys. Anyway.
But we are doing what there?
We are doing a live broadcast with an audience, with everybody, whoever wants to show up there, right? With Mr. Bob Coleman himself of the Coleman Report. So it'll be interesting. We're not going to give you, all the details of what's going on or what we're going to talk about. But, suffice it to say, it's going to be good. And guess what? I get to see Paul in person because I'm sure he's only 5'5". And
I'm just a fat, chubby 5'11" guy. Don't worry.
No. We're both really skinny because the camera adds 10 pounds.
Oh, that's it. Okay, I'm a realist, but no, I look forward to seeing you. I love that. So go ahead and close us out.
Okay, guys. All right. Don't forget we're live on Tuesdays right here on LinkedIn and YouTube. Or stream us at your convenience at any of your streaming platforms where you get your podcast. Go back and see any of our previous episodes. We'd love to see you there. And don't forget to check out our family of podcasts, the SBA or Art of SBA Lending and BDO Show. Follow us on, or share to your network. Smash the like button if you like what we do, because hey, that's how we get more views. And remember, we love talking about SBA. We love talking to you. So if you've got a burning question or a comment, just reach out to Paul or I or both of us on our LinkedIn pages and rise up with your big bad selves. And instead of seeing you next week, we're going to see you in 2 days. So yeah, if anybody's not told you that you're awesome today, we're telling you. So see you.
See you later.
2 days. See ya.